Eviction victims given until 30th of November to vacate the land. Police Commissioner David Manning announces major reshuffle. Vavine Leva Genonoga crowned Miss Central 2022. Good evening, this is National EMTV News. I'm Godwin Eki. Thank you for joining us. The National Court handed a decision on Friday, the 28th of November, with clear instructions to the occupants of the land portion 7322, known as the Morata New Block, were given until 30th of November to vacate the land. The decision was made by Justice Emma Wah at the Waigani National Court in Port Moresby.
Justice Emma Wah gave formal decision outlining that occupants still residing on the land are given until 30th of November to vacate possession on the land to the 6th Estate Limited. Occupants still remaining are subject to further eviction exercise, with the interim restraining order issued on the 15th of October continues until 30th of November. The 6th Estate Limited, which is the defendant, is required to return to the district court and seek warrant of possession. The matter will return to court on the 9th of November for the hearing of the 6th Estate Limited application to dismiss the proceedings. In the meantime, lawyer representing NCD, Moses Saka, briefed the media that he will challenge the 6th Estate Limited at the district court when going for the warrant of possession.
That's right. But that's subject to what's going to happen at the district court. We're going to face them at the district court.
Saka says they have filed a contempt of court application and this will be heard on the 9th of November. Lawyer representing 6th Estate Limited outlined that the decision is subject to appeal and made a call to the occupants that the land belongs to the 6th Estate and development will still push through.
This does not mean that you can go back there and then start building houses. 6th Estate will still recover the land. Whatever happens, the land will still go back to 6th Estate. And laws are in place, we'll follow all the procedures that need to be followed.
He said his client, the 6th Estate Limited, just like any other individuals, applied for the land and made the call to the NCD to stop giving false hope to the people.
We didn't just walk into lands and get the land. How spoke up, NCD, City Hall, and all the members here, make it clear to the people. Stop giving false hope to them. There's no free land here, or ownerless land, where you can just build a house and after 10 years claim that it's yours. The law is clear. You have title, then that is your land. So we'll go to Supreme Court, National Court, Supreme Court, National Court. At the end of the day, we will still be evicted.
Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
NCD Governor Powes Pakop remains adamant that the title obtained by the 6th Estate Limited is unlawful and welcomes the decision from the National Court, as he will have ample time to plan on how to address the issue. Pakop made these statements following the formal National Court's decision on Friday, where the occupants were given until 30th of November to vacate the land.
Governor Pakop, in an interview with EMTV, welcomes the court decision.
The decision of the court is something that is going to change our strategy. That's something I will have to wait for the lawyers to advise me. But otherwise, I'm very pleased with the outcome at this time. It gives us time to work with the settlers. We can look at options like resettling them or considering other legal options.
Pakop highlighted that there is a current appeal before the Supreme Court challenging the legality of the title. Pakop added that the people have been living on the land for more than a decade and evicting them will not solve anything but create multiple social issues.
The concern that I have is a human rights concern, and it's a welfare concern, it's a social concern, that we are trying to solve one problem, a legal problem. We create multiple social problems.
Parkop added that the title given to the Sixth Estate will create problems in terms of planning, highlighting that the company hadn't complied with all the planning requirements when given the urban development leases and branded it as the planning disaster for NCD.
Adamant that we should stop it also because of our planning powers. It's a planning disaster. And for example, we have a similar situation up there at 9 Mile, where we got this 9 Mile plaza. Yeah, all that at the back. Lands Department did the same thing. Without compliance with all the UDL requirements, they issue a certificate of compliance, allowing the title holder to get all the title to the allotments, and then the title holder sold all the allotments. Now we have a disaster. How are we going to service these allotments?
Sharon Engnui, National EMTV News.
Police Commissioner David Manning has announced recently that a major reshuffle will be carried out soon. Commissioner Manning said the 2022 National General Election gave the hierarchy a chance to assess performances of respective commands. The police hierarchy will be making this move in the coming weeks.
Police Commissioner David Manning revealed this during the election debrief conference held in Ley Morobe Province earlier this month. The Royal PNG Constabulary will look at reviewing its commitment to its members. This is to improve all commands and, in return, demand greater performance after the reshuffle. The constabulary is in a stage of transforming and upgrading the organization, which is embarking on a 10-year plan. Commissioner Manning added that this transition is to inspire competent people to lead the constabulary forward. He further said he wants a police force that is effective, efficient, and readily available to meet the challenges in the communities, societies, and the nation as a whole. Commissioner David Manning explained that this evaluation and reshuffle process is the key to rebuilding a successful police force. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
Deputy Commissioner Special Operations Donald Yamasombi has confirmed that only police personnel will be involved in special operations in the nation's capital. Special units such as Water Police, Mobile Squad, Dog Units, Special Services Division and other units within the police force to beef up manpower in the 3 policing zones in NCD moving towards the festive season. According to Deputy Commissioner Yamasombi, this special operation will begin soon.
This special police operation will involve only the police personnel. Speaking to EMTV News via telephone today, Deputy Commissioner Special Operations Donald Yamasombi said he has committed assets and policemen to assist NCD Central Command and NCD Superintendent Gideon Nikumu run this operation effectively. As part of this special operation, police personnel will be patrolling the streets of Port Moresby on foot in order to beef up safety of the general public moving into the festive season. This special operation will involve policemen and women stationed at various bus stops, shopping centers and BC hubs throughout the city. In the wake of upsurge of clashes in the city, like the Arima ethnic clash and the recent Kira fighting, the police are beefing up manpower to attend to such incidences efficiently and to develop trust from the general public. This special operation in NCD will see police personnel stationed at different locations throughout Port Moresby 24 hours a day. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
The chairman for the Public Service Commission, Apeo Fauta Sione, has called on all public service officers to stop corruption in the public service. Chairman Sione said the people have lost confidence in the system of governance within the public service, and therefore the onus is up to the officers to convince the people to once again have confidence in the public service.
During the launching of the PSC Anti-Corruption and Integrity Strategy, Mr. Sioni told the Public Service Commission officers to take the first step to fight against corruption individually. He said they must expose corrupt activities, stop dishonest practices, as this is their job to keep the public service honest, transparent, and accountable.
We are focused on restoring confidence and trust in our decisions and recommendations, and to uphold our mission, which is to promote a highly competent, non-partisan, representative public service that is based on the values of fairness, integrity, transparency, accountability, and accessibility.
Chairman Sioni said the challenge for them to prevent corruption is to start with enforcing the Public Code of Conduct, to prohibit certain types of behavior, and instill and promote personal standards of integrity, honesty, accountability, and professional responsibility. He added that harsher penalties should be imposed for corrupt behaviors.
Other areas that can be looked at in terms of preventing corruption involves citizen, stakeholder participation, rules and procedures for hiring, rotation, promotion, professionalism, and training of civil servants also play a role in combating corruption in the public service.
The launching of the Anti-Corruption and Integrity Strategy 2022-2025 in collaboration with Transparency International (PNG) is to guide the Public Service Commission to fight against corruption. Cynthia Maku, National EMTV News.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. You're watching National EMTV News. Mangroves play a vital role in communities, especially the ones that are located in the coastal areas of PNG. However, it is noticed in areas around the country that mangrove forests are diminishing at a rapid pace. Tonight we take a closer look at the importance of mangroves in Papua New Guinea and why it is important for us to take care of our mangrove forests.
Majority of the coastal communities in Papua New Guinea depend on mangroves for their livelihoods. Mangrove trees are seen to be a source of fuel for cooking as well as used for building their homes, and this practice has been going on for generations. Coastlines around the world are facing a serious problem of coastal erosion due to global warming and the rise in sea levels. Some people do not consider mangroves to be a natural defense against storm surges, coastal erosion, and coastal flooding. Overexploitation and degradation of mangrove areas means communities are losing this protection. The sad fact is that mangrove forests are diminishing at a very rapid pace in Papua New Guinea. Papua New Guinea is no exception to the fact that our shorelines are disappearing as the sea levels rise, and without having mangroves to act as buffer zones, we should be worried. Now the question is, how important are mangroves?
Mangrove, we recommend it because it's the least cost method of coastal protection. And we can't recommend other expensive like stone walling or other things because we don't have the technology or we don't have the money. So what we are doing now currently is we are promoting mangrove because that's the least cost method of coastal protection. And not only coastal protection, but mangrove is very important for like fisheries, like ecosystem approach to fisheries management. Mangrove is an area where fish breeding and brooding takes place. And also mangrove is good for ecotourism and livelihood. Those people, we encourage people to, because you can't just go and tell them to conserve mangrove. You have to, some sort of benefits attached to it. Most of the people, they think that it's mangrove is just for community use or for trees or others, but we carry out a lot of awareness on the importance of mangrove. Mangrove is good for cultural things, for medicine, firewood, and the other things. But when it comes to climate change, mangrove is a very special tree, both for mitigation and adaptation.
Mr. Iki Peter, the adaptation manager at the Climate Change and Development Authority, highlights the mangrove areas in PNG.
We have one of the largest area of mangrove. For PNG, we have got around 553,422 hectares of mangrove, 40 known true mangrove species, and we have got around, the mangrove coverage is around 2% of the total land mass of PNG.
Despite the significance of mangroves, PNG still has no specific policy for mangroves. However, Mr. Peter says a policy has been drafted and will soon be fine-tuned for the country to use. An initiative known as Millions of Mangrove was developed to coordinate all mangrove activities in the country. With that came a community-based mangrove planting handbook for Papua New Guinea, which is seen as a tool to drive the Millions of Mangrove initiative.
This booklet, Community-Based Mangrove Planting Handbook for Papua New Guinea, was developed as a tool to advance that Millions of Mangrove initiative. And this, actually, we had a first version of it, and from the comments that we received from our stakeholders and users, it was too technical. It was not user-friendly. So we had to revise this one with the support funding from ADB. And this is a very simplified user booklet that any layman can use it. It's a step-by-step guideline. As you know, like all the mangrove community work, it's done around communities and villages. And not many of them are experts in mangrove. So there was a need to come up with a community booklet that will guide them, at least the basics, so they will follow, so that they can do mangrove projects on their own without any advice or any specialists.
Another vital aspect of mangrove is that it absorbs carbon emissions faster compared to terrestrial forests. Mr. Peter also pointed out the fact that mangroves are the least expensive defense mechanism that is in place to counter coastal erosions, and that is one thing they advocate on, as funding for climate change programs is one thing that does not come by easily.
As a result of climate change, sea levels are rising, and tsunamis and sea surge, it's increasing, and the only way, the cheapest way to protect from all this is through the preservation of mangrove and planting and rehabilitation of mangroves. And also mangrove is good for livelihood. And you can go to small SME and livelihood projects where the mangroves, like set up a tourism or hotspot or some sort of vegetation areas. And also mangrove is good for the fishery sector also. The coastal people, fisheries is very important. If you cut down all the mangroves, all the fish will run away to different seas, and it will be very risky to go to other seas to look for crabs or fish. So as long as you look after the mangroves, mangroves will in turn look after you.
Some coastal villages have taken the initiative to start replanting mangroves. Pari village in the Motu Koitabu Assembly is one of those villages that started a mangrove replanting program in 2017. The rehabilitation program was spearheaded by the mothers in the community. They replanted mangroves along their shorelines and encouraged the villagers to join in the program. However, the rehabilitation program at Pari village came to a standstill, and the reasons to that remain unclear. A young enthusiastic climate change advocate at Pari village, Tau Lowi, now took us for a walkthrough in the area where the mangrove rehabilitation project was carried out, and you can see that the sea has claimed more than 5 meters of the coastline in the last 5 years, forcing the people to move their homes.
The effects of climate change is real, as we can also witness in our community, where especially the people who are living along the beachfront of Pari, they are now experiencing the rise of sea level. The sea water is now coming into some of the houses. The front yard, gardens, or some food gardens are also been affected.
Tao is optimistic that he is capable of reviving the Pari Mangrove Rehabilitation Project, but also highlighted that there is lack of awareness in his village on the subject of mangroves and its importance.
There's a deforestation going on. There are people who are, due to lack of awareness and programs on protecting the mangroves not carried out. The people are cutting the mangroves, using that as their firewood and some post. The people seeing the mangrove is it's just a normal thing where they can cut the firewood and everything, but the importance of it, most of them are still unknown to them. I mean, because there's no awareness been done to no education programs been rolled out in the community that the importance of mangrove.
Climate change impacts are seen and felt in Papua New Guinea, and responsible authorities continue to put in time and effort to combat climate change and its impacts. And as stated by agencies and authorities in the country, everyone must take responsibility for our actions, which will help to at least mitigate climate impacts in communities and the country as a whole.
Mangrove is not another tree, but it's a special tree, both for mitigation and adaptation. If you are interested or focus is on adaptation, then the mitigation becomes a co-benefit. If you are focusing on mitigation, then adaptation becomes a co-benefit. So that's the message that we try to get to the communities, the benefits of protecting their coastline, and also it's protect them against sea surge and tsunamis. And also, like if there's no mangrove, all the fish and the crabs will run away. So it's good for their livelihood, to food security. When we talk about food security for the coastal villages, it's about the marine products. So when preserving mangrove helps to maintain those crabs and fish and all the things that villages and communities get from the sea. So it's good for food security, for their livelihoods, for protection, and the list of benefit goes on.
Climate change or the climate effect is real. The impact now we are experiencing is real. More climate pledges, more climate issues and talks being made. But coming to the ground where people to come and assist the community, it's not. So my appeal to the national government or any stakeholders who are interested in assisting the Pari communities by conserving the environment or the mangrove itself is, please, we need your assistance. It's not only the mangroves that people are, this also soil erosion taking place when people are cutting the mangroves.
The ecosystems are fragile, and taking ownership of our actions and being responsible is the way forward, as we bear in mind that mangroves act as natural buffer zones that protect the coastline from rising sea levels, strong winds, king tides, and also provide habitat for marine life that many coastal villages depend on for food.
National EMTV News continues after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. Chairman for Public Sector Reforms and Northern Governor Gary Juffa has emphasized the need for reform to remove complacency in the Forestry Department and the need to go green in his province. This transpired in a meeting with Forestry Ministry. Salio Waipo, Forestry Managing Director John Mosoro, Senior Management and Staff of Forestry.
Reforms are needed to build a robust public service in Papua New Guinea, and as head of the Parliamentary Committee on Public Sector Reforms, Northern Governor Gary Jufa is taking the lead in overseeing these vital reforms. Already 3 provinces have been earmarked, East Sepik, Northern and Central, to pilot reforms along with state-owned enterprises and a selected public service department to test the reforms with development partners. Last week, the Forestry Department, through the Minister for Forestry, welcomed the chairman of the Parliamentary Committee and his small team for their visit. Angarom MP Salio Waipo, who is the Forestry Minister, committed the PNGFA to Governor Gary Jufa's cause.
To work closely with you. We invite you to work closely with your province and the ideologies that you have for the province and with the department for future on the entire country.
In his address, Chairman of the Public Sector Reforms, Gary Jufa, outlined the need for reform in the forestry sector.
But what we want to do is carry out a continuous, consistent and constant review of our public sector so that we can modernize the public sector to be an effective vehicle for the development of our nation. The nation will only develop as long as the public sector functions efficiently and effectively.
Governor Jufa also highlighted the need to go green in his province.
We want to go green. Green in terms of the energy that we use. Green in terms of our efforts in developing our natural resources. By doing this, we are going to shut off our diesel generators, and therefore we're going to reduce carbon emissions, and therefore we qualify as a province for various funding from international organizations that have funding available for these efforts.
The Managing Director of the Papua New Guinea Forest Authority, John Mosoro, revealed that the PNGFA is currently undergoing reforms to improve as an organization.
As you all will appreciate it, we're currently going through a reform in forestry. Our Minister, Honorable Salio Waipo, came at the right time. Right timing as we go through a reform. After our restructure and we get our forestry act now, we had a lockdown last 2 weeks ago, and you realize that in the new forestry act that now going through, it will capture a lot of things that now the governor is saying, is mentioning here in that new forestry act. We put an emphasis on 2 options: to cut, not to cut. And in one of not to cut, we're looking at biodiversity conservation.
The restructure of the PNGFA is in line with its corporate plan 2021 to 2030, and the revising of the Forest Act amended is an example of reforms that the PNGFA is undertaking right here at its Hola headquarters in Port Moresby. While the restructure may have ended, PNGFA is working on endorsing the Forest Act amended to NEC to have it ready to be presented on the floor of Parliament in the first quarter of 2023. Rocky Iso, National EMTV News.
6 village communities in the inland Yarus region of Makam Umi Adzira local level government have commenced constructing a road using their bare hands. The road is 20 kilometers long and 2 kilometers have been built already.
According to local leaders, the 20-kilometer stretch of road was approved by the National Executive Council for construction in 2005 and valued at 4.8 million kina. However, the villagers say nothing has happened except a survey of the route that the road will take. The survey was conducted by the Engineering Battalion of the PNG Defence Force in 2005, where customary owners of land portions that the road's route will take were identified and an arrangement between the landowners was signed.
Me apply working agreement law MOU law 2005 one temple brata antaplo Yarus and me working agreement law in Mikla Brooklyn Road.
After waiting for 17 years, the young people and their fathers picked up axes, bush knives, shovels and digging sticks and began cutting a pilot track.
Last week, we start 8 o'clock, finish 4 o'clock. Number 2 week, we walk. Become 2 week finish. Now number 3 week.
Mamaringa Yarus Awara Road Project Coordinator Yafita Asus confirmed that there are 7 villages engaged in this project.
Community blow Bratalo Yarus and 7 communities. 7 community. Sabos mi pakamablo Yarus and Narpla community 2 lo side lo Awara. There's a road by go through lo go kamablo Awara.
This road construction project was inspired by the struggles of the people of Yarus and Awara inland regions have been facing in health, education and market access. An elder from the Yampua village in the Yarus inland region, Moab Ita, explained that the road project is about self-reliance.
So this la
in the last 3 weeks, 4 vehicles have used the first 2 kilometers that has been cut. Once this road is completed, the Awara inland region in the neighboring Leron Wantoat LLG and the Yarus inland region in the Umi Adsera LLG will be connected with Mamaringa village as the entry and exit points to this new road link. Lindy Suharupa, National EMTV News.
The 2022 Tiare Vavine inaugural crowning took place last night at the Hilton Hotel. Miss Maraga Robo Vavineleva Genonoga grabbed the 2022 Miss Central crown out of the 3 grand final contestants.
After a year of long hard work, dedication and commitment, last night, the Miss Tiare Vavine 2022 officially hosted its inaugural crowning at the Hilton Hotel. This was witnessed by Rigo MP Ano Pala, Kairuku MP Peter Iso Aimo, NCD female candidates Michelle Aofa and Anna Bias, along with other prominent Central Province leaders. In commencing the occasion, 4 cultural groups from Central Province performed dances and sing-sings as part of their respective origins. The performances were significant to them and their people. The Miss Tiare Vavine competition was first launched in 2021. This is the first year of its competition, and 7 contestants ran for the crowning, leading up to the 3 grand finalists: Miss Magaubo Angeline Veratao, Miss Maraga Robo Vavine Genonoga, and Miss Geababa Sari Iamo. 5 categories were used by the judges. Miss Vavine Genonoga collected the Best Top Presentation prize of 1,000 kina, the Best Traditional Cultural Performance, the Tiare Vavine Entrepreneurship Award worth 10,000 kina, and the Best Stage Interview Award. Miss Vavine Genonoga was crowned the Miss Tiare Vavine 2022. She was emotional as she dedicated the crowning to those who have contributed to bringing her this far and for their tireless support as having been the only contestant residing in the village.
Thank you very much. I don't know how much more I can express myself. I'm just so thankful right now. And for all of my family who took time to make room for me when I was traveling from the village to come for this competition. For my family at Waigani, I'm very thankful. I would like to extend this thanks from my heart to them for providing me accommodation for all of this. And to my supportive chaperone and my sister, assistant, Kaworu Kausi.
Her crowning was a tale already known by the audience as she held them captive with a performance right throughout the night until her official crowning.
To motivate my people. the young girls who are living in.
Ms. Vavine Genonoga bagged the crown with 5,000 Kina cash award, written ticket of 2 from PNG Air, and a night away gift pack from the House of Gemini. The second runner-up was Ms. Magaubo Angeline Varatau, and she claimed a cash prize of 1,500 Kina. Lisa Apuni, National EMTV News.
Thank you.
You're watching National EMTV News. Trukai Sports is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The NCD Data Association has played its finals yesterday to end the 2022 season. The matches were played at Sports Inn in Port Moresby. In Premier Division, K180 came out victorious, and Bumchika claimed the 2022 title for the First Division.
First finisher.
The NCD Data Association played its finals on Saturday, the 29th of October, to end its 2022 season. The matches were played at the Sports Inn in Port Moresby. Supporters turned up in their numbers to witness and watch their teams play the grand finals. In the First Division, Bumchika defeated the K180 Dragons 5 stars to 4 to claim the 2022 season title. The NCD Data Association President Dr. Kapua Kapua thanked everyone for participating and their support towards the game since the beginning of the competition to witness the finals. Malabag Idaha, in his speech during the presentation, congratulated everyone for the 2022 competition. He said sporting events are important as they bring people together. He added that come 2023, the Sports Foundation will support all sports, including darts. Mr. Idaha further says sports is everything, and PNG-SF will ensure Maraperoso government initiative of going rural in sports is fulfilled. They aim to start at an early age of 10 to involve kids in any sporting activities. The NCD DART competition is one of the associations that will be supported and ensure it progresses and promotes more good sportsmen and women in the future for PNG internally and internationally. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
The Rugby League World Cup is in its round 3 of competition, and today saw the Fiji Batties defeating Scotland 30 points to 14 at the Kingston Park in Newcastle. This is their final group stage match as they advance through to the quarterfinals.
The Fiji Batties have booked a spot in the quarter-finals after defeating Scotland 30 to 14 points this morning at the Kingston Park in Newcastle. 5 minutes into the fixture, the Batties side surged for the opening score. Fiji scored another try again through William Kikau, but an intercepted possible try for the Batties secured the Bravehearts' first score, reducing the margin to 8. At the first half siren, the scoreline was 18 to 10 in favor of the Batties side. In the second half, it was the Batties that fought disastrously as they were desperate not to wait and to be assured of their next place in the 4th round of the World Cup. The Fiji Batties defeated the Scottish Bravehearts with a 30 to 14 full-time victory. Meanwhile, also today, the Australian Kangaroos in their final campaign in Pool A defeated the Italian side with 66 points to 6 at the final siren. The Kangaroos and the Batties are now through to the quarter-finals. The Batties will meet host nation England, while the Kangaroos will face the Kiwis. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
Trukai Sports continues after the break. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports.
You're watching Trukai Sports. To a story of someone who is very passionate over football handling, the sitting captain of the City Strikers FC, Romario Salon. The lad has been in the football game for almost his entire life. He discovered the Strikers through captaining Jubilee Secondary School soccer team in 2016, where they competed against other NCD school soccer clubs.
Meet City Strikers FC captain Romario Solon. He is no ordinary captain as he juggles his second-year dentistry studies at the University of Papua New Guinea Medical Faculty along with his family time and leisure time with soccer. Solon hails from Milne Bay Province and he is 23 years of age. He first discovered City Strikers FC when he was captain in the Jubilee Secondary School Soccer Club in 2016, competing against other NCD schools within Port Moresby under the NCD School Soccer Tournament.
Strikers through schools football. So it was back in 2017 when they established the Port Moresby School Association. So like from there, like they selected, that's where like it's a pathway where they select talented players, like players. They were scouts too along the school program, so they were there to select players. So,
according to Solon, the captain role he held during his time in Jubilee was a bonus to him advancing through to the striker squad. It cost him 3 consecutive years of commitment, dedication, and hard work to make it this far.
So for a school, like I said, it's a school competition. So like we represented our school. So I represented Jubilee Catholic Secondary School. Just like the other boys, they represented their schools as well. So back then, like I was the captain for the school. So probably they said I was the captain. So yeah, they had to get into the squad. Yes. It took us like 3 years for us to, get the much needed experience to play at such level. So apart from the...
Fast forward to this year, Solon is currently titled the captain of City Strikers FC, and under his captaincy, the club has transitioned throughout this season's regular rounds undefeated. The only club that has gone to a draw with the Strikers is Vesubeai Aupa. Solon has led his club through a 2 weeks tireless training as they are on bye for the finals playoff. Tomorrow, the Strikers will meet Vesubeai Aupa at the Bisini Diamond Soccer Oval for the decider fixture. Lisa Puni, Trukai Sports.
That ends Trukai Sports. The Money Plus weather report for the next 24 hours is next. Stay with us.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
Weather forecast for the next 24 hours. Southern region, Port Moresby, Daru, Alatau, fine. Kerma, partly cloudy with inland thunderstorm. Popondetta, partly cloudy with morning showers.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
And that wraps up the news, sports and weather for Sunday, the 30th of October 2022. The replay of the Rugby League World Cup matches between England and Greece at 7 p.m. after the break. Then at 9 p.m. Fiji versus Scotland, and at 11 p.m. Australia takes on Italy, right here on your #1 to watch, MTV. From all of us here, pleasant viewing. Bye for now.